Alright. What up, everybody? Or those who have joined so far. Fun day Sunday. It is still Sunday, right? Sunday tutorial time. So today we're going to go ahead and talk about armor and how we actually attach that armor to certain parts and certain things like flak vests, maybe legs, fabrics, different type of stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and talk about that stuff, and I'll show you a couple things, supplies that I use, different techniques that I use, techniques that I know that have failed, all that fun stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let this go for a couple more seconds. Let some other people come here. What's up, guys? Caught the live stream. Yeah, finally. All right. So I hope this isn't too loud. I hope everything's all right. I hope you guys can see what's going on. We're going to try to cover a lot of ground here, and then we'll do some Q&A and all that fun stuff. So let's see. So right out of the gate, this is an armor kit, well, part of an armor kit that I got from Maker Baked, these guys. The reason why I really like their kits is because not only are they 3D printed, which makes it a hell of a lot more easier to customize and do things to, but they're thick, so it adds dimension to your kit and adds a better look and feel to it. But it's also a lot easier to move with. It's a lot easier to attach to things. It's just in my opinion, 3D printed parts are really the best kind of things for these kind of kits. So let's go in it. So again, these are all painted and all prepped. I have all my weathering, my damage. I put all my holes and stuff in them, so they're all ready to go. So when I do eventually actually get the flak vest in from that I have on order, then I can actually attach these. But I'm going to show you how I would put attachments to these, and we'll show you my actual vests that they're already attached to, and we'll go ahead and kind of go through that process. Our 3D printer lighter than Sintra. I don't really know. It kind of depends on the thickness of the prints. These plates are a little bit thicker. I ordered them a little bit thicker than some of the other plates that I have. So these, that's how thick these bad boys are. They're still very lightweight because they're mostly hollow on the inside, but they're pretty light. They do have a little weight to them, but it's not too crazy. But they're nice and thick. As you can kind of see, there's a little difference between this is the first set and this is the thicker set. So there is a difference between these two. These are a lot thicker, but these still work just as well, and they are a lot lighter than these. So if you're going for lightweight, they also have, this thickness. I don't know how many millimeters that is, 3 to 5, I'm not sure. But anyway, so as far as thickness goes and how this all works together, it's awesome. So we have breastplates, ab plates, we have the neck, and then, which is again nice and thick, and we have the the cod plate, crotch protection is what it really say that is. And this is actually my I hate this plate the most when it comes to maneuverability. This plate on all kits, the crotch, it really kind of jams you up when you're trying to do out of the norm kind of positioning and for photos and stuff like that, poses. This kind of gets in the way. Movement, this kind of gets in the way. But I found a really good way to attach these so that they don't come undone when you're trying to pose in these crazy positions and stuff. So we'll go over that, because this one is the most difficult one. All these ones, really simple. This one, kind of a pain. So we'll go over all that stuff. So again, plates. The other thing that I really like about Maker Baked is they already come with the snap insets, already printed into this. So that way it's really easy, it's a lot easier to go ahead and figure out exactly how far things are going to be spaced out. So when you're transferring this onto your actual flak vest, it's really easy to line up, especially if you're doing any sort of measuring and stuff. It's already ready to go. And you can get the snaps from them. You can get snaps from pretty much any hardware store. So that's all they look like. They come with the adapters and things, how to actually put these together. And it's ridiculously easy. I thought I was going to have an issue with it, but it's not. I will say that with snaps, they're okay for certain things, but I don't think that I will be going the snap route for this kit specifically. I'm going to try something different with this kit. I have snaps on my other kit, which is fine, and they work the way they're supposed to. However, like I said, when snaps, the way they work is that they're really rated to resist pulling away from the snap. So pulling this way, they're really, really, really solid. But when you're doing any sort of movement that requires your chest comes together or apart, they pop pretty easily. And I tried to figure out a solution to stop that with my other kit. And what I found is if I did hot glue into the snaps and then press the snaps together, that it would have a little bit more hold. Turns out it's a little better, but not entirely. It doesn't really solve that problem. So I'm going to go a different route with these guys. So I won't show you how to glue the snaps into these, but I'll show you how I did that in the process for that. But anyway, going forward. So like I said, all the imprinted, so they're all the recessed. And I think it's like a mil and a half of recess in there. So it actually is really, really good for when you're putting your snaps in. Now, I'm going to show you what I did with these bad boys. So there's your snap, or at least the one that you want to glue to the prop itself. So what you can do is you take that, and the best glue that I found so far, believe it or not, is Gorilla Glue Clear. The reason why I use the clear is it doesn't foam, and it holds really, really, really well. So and it's clear. There's a lot of like different, the different Gorilla Glues, they foam up, and it's kind of a nightmare to deal with. But this stuff it lays out super smooth, has a really, really clear see-through finish. It doesn't yellow. So what I'll do is I'll glob a bunch on there and then set that bad boy right in the center. Now I'll let that tack up for a little bit, and then I'll take a little bit more glue and drip it inside of the hole just to fill it up a little bit more, so it has a little bit more solid all around hold on the actual snap. What up, Tiny Wars? So that's, what I did with my other kit. You put the snap in there, you glue it down, you let them set. It's 24 hours is really the best hold for that kind of glue. I have used a lot of different glues. For instance, like this stuff, like this 2-part epoxy is good for some props, but not for actual hold. This says it holds up a lot of weight, but it doesn't at all. The other stuff that I use is this stuff. I mean, it's the same company, but this stuff is built to withstand a lot of pull force and weight. So I really, really like this stuff. But I still don't use this for attaching those. I've used the Gorilla Glue Clear for all of them, all my snaps on my entire kit, even including the backs of my knees, and they haven't failed. Like, I haven't had a zero failure with these things popping off, not once. And I've beat up my other kit quite a bit, and have been doing stuff like leapfrogs off of random building kind of stuff. So, which I have photos of. I haven't put it out yet though. Maybe I'll post that soon. So with the snaps, the other method that I double down with, and I can't stress enough, is Velcro. This is like the lifeblood to your kit. This is really what holds the fort down. Your snap can come undone, and it's really, really hard. And it's almost impossible that when you have your kit on, if a snap comes undone from your flak vest, it pops, and then you have this flappy, kind of loose thing going on. So every movement you make, that when it's supposed to be in this position, it'll flap forward. So if you're taking photos, you're posing with people, you'll have this weird abnormal, looking plate, and it's really a pain in the ass. You can't really stick your hand in there to squeeze those snaps back together. That's not an easy thing to do at all. So really what this is held down with is Velcro. You can buy it in the roll from Amazon like I do. I buy a lot of this, and depending on what your kit is going to look like, I would buy a color corresponding. So with my other kit, it has a black leather underneath, so I use the black, so that way even if you're at a sideways view, for some reason your plate is not perfectly there, you're not going to see any of this stuff underneath. You're not going to see these bands of Velcro sticking out anywhere. But this is primarily what holds everything together. Now, I'll show you what the other kit looks like too, with the snaps. But for these, I'm going to try something new. Like I was saying, I'm going to try. There's almost like a push pin set that you can get now. They're made for lapel pins and stuff like that. So they sell the lapel pin backs with the same little circumference backing on there. So basically what you would do, and this is going to be a lot easier when you're putting your plates onto your flak vest and adjusting them, because that's a whole nightmare that we'll talk about here in a second. But the push pins, I think, will be drastically easier. Glue those push pins in, and then when you have your flak vest laid out, either on your dummy, your mannequin, whatever, a pillow, whatever it is, you can just kind of set that in and push individually through and then cap them off. And they do have some really, really good backing for those push pins. They lock in, so that way they're not going to come off. So that will be super, super solid. You won't have to worry about these things at all. So that's what I'm going to do for this kit. But for the other kit, I went ahead and did the snapbacks anyway, and we'll bring that up. But so let me show you what the other plate looks like as far as how I laid out my Velcro, and then we can kind of check and see. Actually, we'll go ahead and start with the crotch plate because it's the most pain in the ass one. So I've got my other plate, and I will say that there's one thing about the crotch plate: it does not have the recess for the snaps on these ones. I don't know why that is. It just doesn't. All the other ones do, including shoulders and all that stuff, all has recess, but the crotch plate doesn't. And that's whatever. It doesn't really matter because, again, I use the same glue to this flat, just straight to the flat part, and it's not coming off. Like they're on there. And I have these snaps connected to corresponding snaps and hooks with stretch cord on my lower half on my flight suit. But what I did, laid out Velcro, slapped that on, and I went ahead and took the other half of the Velcro, left it on, and then turned it around and stuck it to my jumpsuit, my flight suit, and then I gently kind of peeled away so that this pattern was the exact same pattern on my flight suit. So I didn't have to worry about trying to space things out. You don't really have to do that. The good thing about Velcro is if you lay out a simple grid, you can line it up and it'll stick no matter what. I just happened to try to get fancy with this, but it turns out it really didn't need it. So that's that. Also, these snaps are for my up under. That's what we're going to call it. And I came up with this bad boy. So it's just stretchy nylon, again, Amazon, and these little buckles. And that's how that runs. And I don't sew. I don't know how to use a sewing machine. I don't have a sewing machine. So instead of sewing these things together, I just took one of the snaps and I just punched it through. It's really easy to punch through this stuff. You just stick your finger right through that, or the post right through that, separates. So I stuck that, hammered that down, and that's good to go. That's not going anywhere either. Same thing with the other side. I made 2 little loops and then hammered one section through, and left the snaps on this other end. So that way, snap, snap, and then it trails up underneath the crotch and up to a buckle that I have hanging off of my belt. So that's where it goes. So buttons in the front connected to other snaps, and this goes up and under, for maximum comfort, and buckles in. So that way this, it's going to hold it in place, but if you have to move and you have to stretch, it will allow you to do that without grinding into your hips and stuff. I'll just show you what that looks like on the pants. Mess. So my flight suit itself isn't a flight suit. I use two halves to make this. I use an upper and a lower half. So this is my lower half. And again, these are tactical pants that I got off Amazon. That's all it is. I did search through a whole lot of different styles before I came up with when I found these ones, and it did have extra pouches and stuff on them that I just took off. I wasn't going for any particular screen Boba Fett, so I didn't have to worry about it matching 100% with anything else. So it was just something I didn't care about. Also, belt. Tactical magnetic belt, again, Amazon. That's it. It's hooked in. It's good. It's going to hold everything together really, really well. So up under the belt is where I have a bunch of my stuff. I put an excessive amount of snaps into this because I wasn't exactly sure how this was going to mount up when I first did it. Obviously, you can see I actually pulled the Velcro away too because I didn't need it for this, so no crotch Velcro. There's Velcro on the other stuff, and we'll go over that. But so what I did is take that. This is my little hook system. Again, it's just a snap, little button snap, and I made this little thing. So same kind of principle, just a little snap together, a little buckle, mini buckle. So it just goes like that. Boom. Up and under. So that snaps in. The belt actually holds this down so you don't have a lot of forward floating on the front half. So I always put everything that I want snug up underneath the belt so that way it doesn't come away from my body. I did get snap happy. Yes, I did. This is my first kit. So I had no idea what I was doing right out of the gate. I just kind of was slapping stuff together to see what would work. In fact, all these lower snaps were strictly just for this. I didn't have this hook system that I developed after the fact. So the hook and buckle system that I'm going over right now is the afterthought. Originally, it was just this, just snaps straight on. The problem that I ran into, which a lot of people are going to run into, is if you bend over or you do any sort of flex maneuver or power stance, your snaps are going to come undone. They'll just pop off. And then if you don't have enough snaps, you're going to pop off. And in the picture, you're going to have your crotch flap. It's going to flap down and hang between your legs. And that is really awkward to try and get other people to help you put this back on. I've never had that happen yet, thankfully, but we're going to ignore these lower snaps. We're just going to ignore that they're there. So again, going back to this guy, just a simple little thing. And you can do one of two ways. You can have these snapped already. And that's, so it's all ready to go. And so that way you just clip them into the clips. Or, it can work the other way where it's already buckled together, everything's underneath, you don't have to fight with your belt. And when you go to put it on, I put that on backwards, sorry. My bad. There we go. So, find a snap. Same thing. Find a snap. Boom. That ain't going anywhere. And when you're buckled together and it's up against your body, this ain't going anywhere. That's good and solid. And then Your strap, let's see if I left this on, goes up behind and connects to this. Again, that's all I did right there. Just another one of those little flapped over, stretchy to a button with a little buckle. That's it. Super simple. And since I know this is the center of my body and the backside, I just went ahead and snapped it right to that. So that way, you take your strap up under the crotch and boom. That's it. And it's black on black. You can't see that. Stays in there, tucks under. Wha-bam! That ain't going anywhere. And you can troop around, you can do power stances, you can do whatever you want all day long. This ain't gonna come off. That's the best way that I found to secure this difficult plate to your junk. That's the easiest way. Is I came up with this little snap thing, this little buckle mechanism, which is anybody can do this. You don't need to sew, because again, I don't sew. I don't know how to do that. I don't have the equipment for that. You just take your stretchy and you put it together, and that's it. Your nylon straps, and that's it. And you can get a whole ton of this stuff, from Amazon. I mean, I went a little excessive. I have a lot of different sizes. I have, thick to thin, for a lot of different shenanigans. But that's how I went and attached this. And when it really helps, I found, because I suit up really quick. And I may or may not in the future do a suit up video, but I suit up really quick, and this has helped me tremendously. I can do this by myself. I don't need help putting this on. You hook it up in front and you swing it up and under and clip it to the back. You can reach your back. You know where this thing is. You're bulky enough to where you can feel where these go, and that's it. You can definitely have somebody help you if you need to, but you really don't need the help. And when if you're trooping and you're sick and tired of this thing, grinding in your hips and stuff, that's all you gotta do is unclip it or unbutton it. It's probably easier to just unbutton it than it is to unclip it. But so if you want to sit down, you want to relax for a minute without taking your whole kit off, and you don't want to lean up against a wall, and you don't even technically have to take this off the backside. I always do from the backside because it's easier to, that you don't have this tail flapping around. Boom. And you go cruise around. Sit down and have a rest. I'm kind of glad Dinjarin doesn't have a COD PC. Yes. Or Deathwatch, the new Deathwatch in The Mandalorian. They don't have COD PCs either, and I'm so thankful for that, because after doing this, after having to walk around with this thing, I kind of hate it. I really do. I kind of hate it. But it's part of the gig, so and it looks good in pictures, man. It really does. It looks good in photos, so it's nice to have it. But I am very happy that they did not have this in the rest of the show. So I'm thankful for that. So that is crotch plate. We'll put this back together just so you can kind of see the. Go there, and then where's our snap and snap. And the good thing is you can do this by feel. You don't have to see what's going on. Like, especially once you get used to feeling where the snaps are, since they protrude so much, it's really easy to find them. So you don't have to worry about all that stuff. So next up is leg armor. And I got leg armor because I felt like something was missing from point A to point B. So we have our knee armor, and there wasn't anything here. I didn't want to have to remove all these pouches, and I just felt like there needed to be something here, a little bit more aesthetic. I do have dual holsters that wrap around my legs, but they just kind of looked a little too plain, and there were brown straps. It wasn't the greatest. So I did purchase a couple plates and have these guys. So really, the only thing is, I did not get these plates or my knees from MakerBait. I did get them from another people. It is DHPFX. They sell a whole lot of stuff, and it's good. It's thick. It's about the same thickness as these printed armors, but they're made out of ABS or PVC plastic. These are just hard plastic, and the difference in weight between these and these is really minimal. Like, you're not even going to notice, the difference, really. I mean, if you really are like strained about it, then it is what it is. I wish they did leg armor. Maker Baked, they are doing some stuff, and believe it or not, they do custom jobs. It takes a little bit longer, but you can sit and design stuff with them, and you can create your own custom stuff. So it takes a little bit longer, but you can do your own thing. They just did a whole kit, a whole legs and shin kit for somebody. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but they did a whole kit for them from basically the feet up, and it looks amazing. So definitely go check it out. They probably have it linked to their page. But anyway, again, Velcro, and that's all that hold these bad boys on, period. They don't fall off. They don't go anywhere. This Velcro is really industrial strength, so it's good. It holds up to, I think, 10 to 15 pounds, so you don't have to worry about that just coming off. Now, in order to attach it to the fabric, which it will attach itself to the fabric, but with heat and time, it will start peeling up, which is kind of an issue with me. So I learned from somebody else that all you have to do is lay a bead of hot glue around the edges. The hot glue bonds to the fabric. I don't know if you've ever tried to get hot glue off fabric. It's a pain in the ass, but bead of hot glue around all the edges, and that doesn't go anywhere. That will stay on there. And then boom. Then we have our legs. Or leg and crotch. crotch, leg, or thigh. If you want to call it a thigh. That's that. Again, it's just Velcro, just stuck to the back. I didn't add any extra glue onto the backs of these. I mean, you can if you really want to, if you're really worried about it, but this stuff is stuck. And I didn't do a whole lot of prep work to these. Like, as you can see, they're silver painted over it. I didn't sand the silver off. I just slapped it on there. And I did actually do I wanted to coat the edges a little bit more, so I had some overspray, but it is what it is. But yes, this is just Velcro on the leg. That's it. I haven't done anything different. And like I said, I jump off stuff. There's what we call pillboxes out here. There's old military stuff. I was climbing around on top of those for a couple shoots, and I decided that it'd be cool to jump off of it, and I jumped off, and everything stayed. Nothing popped. Nothing came apart. So that was kind of the test that I was worried about. So easy peasy. Now comes another fun part that a lot of people have issue with, and that is knees. Oh, knees. The most... second most... Oh, there you go. Painted. Yeah, pillboxes. They're fun to climb around on, man. Take pictures on. They're cool. So these pants already had this Velcro stitched in because there was another pocket here. Now, I removed the entire pocket, but I left this strip of Velcro. This strip of Velcro happens to be right about where my knee is, or the upper part of my knee. So I didn't have to worry about gluing more Velcro onto these. I just went ahead and left it. So knowing that I pulled the pocket off, left the strip. So what we're gonna do, if I can find where the hell I put my knee. Ah, there it is. All right, knee, battle damaged, funsy. Again, stretchy strap. That's it. So all I did, again, was glue a little popper right in the inside there and snap it right on the end of that stuff. And a lot of people were worried that this was going to pull through. And believe it or not, this ain't going to go anywhere. This isn't going to pull through. And I did go ahead and used a little bit of heat to seal the edges so they won't fray. So it's all good, no worries. And I did learn from somebody else that you definitely need to secure this a little bit more under here, so that way it won't pull apart. Because since it is stretchy, if you just glue it straight on without making this a solid chunk, it will come undone. So what I did is I took a piece of craft foam, just normal craft foam, and I took, where's that all stretchy at? We'll just use this for now. So I took craft foam, and I took the stretchy, and I glued it down with just contact cement, like barges or whatever. So I just glued it solid to there, and it was fine. So it did try to pull off a little bit. So what I did is a little extra is I took hot glue, and I coated the entire thing. So that way this whole thing was super solid, and it didn't stretch. So it stretched right at the edge here, but it didn't stretch this. So it was rigid. And then I just cut that foam, glued it on the underside into this little hollowed out area. Again, this is the only other part that isn't Maker Baked. It's by DHPFX. But once I had it glued in, let it set. Again, just contact cement. Because it was foam on the backside, it stuck really well and stayed. But I wanted a little bit more level of secure, so I put another piece of foam over the top of those, and that kept it in. It's gone through stress tests galore, and this has stayed in. This is solid. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to separate. Even pulling this way, that's not going anywhere. That thing is in there. Okay. Now, a lot of people I was having trouble with was trying to keep my knee up on there. I see a lot of people having trouble where their knee drops, it slides around, it doesn't look right. You got to constantly make sure that it's set before you take your photos or whatever. So that's where that whole strip comes into play. Again, gridding out Velcro is super easy. I added a piece here, and a strip down the middle. This way, it clamps on to either side of my knee, so it doesn't have any sort of movement this way. And a vertical strip, just so I make sure it keeps it locked in place. And the reason why I like the vertical strip here is just because if it's a little too low, you just separate it and lift it up a little bit, or angle it up a little higher and stick it in, and it'll stay. It ain't going anywhere. And then after it's Velcroed onto your leg, you can use your two free hands now, because you don't have to hold this, and then reach around your knee and just slide that through here. You just between your leg and the part, slide that in, pop it on. So now you have this is keeping it in place, and these 3 points keeping it in place. These knees don't go anywhere. They are locked in. They don't go anywhere. I don't know if I could put this on this way. Kind of a pain in the ass. Let's try. Alright, so even without the strap connecting, so it goes around the knee back there. That's not going anywhere. This thing is on there. This is not going in there. And I could just have left the Velcro and not needed the strap, but I like to make sure that I'm not going to be walking around and I'm going to lose a knee and it's going to be floating around the floor of the convention center somewhere. So the strap is just an added precaution. But this, not going anywhere. You can bend your knee, you can float around, all that fun stuff is not going anywhere. But that's how I do knees, man. It's super easy. Again, you don't need to know how to sew. You don't need to know how to stitch. You glue. If you can use a hot glue gun and sticky back Velcro with a little bit of contact cement, this thing is going to be solid. Especially with our Velcros. It's definitely solid. They ain't going anywhere. That's that. So that's how I do my knees. So far we've got quad, thigh, knee. Now, most people I don't want to lose. Nobody wants to lose a knee, man. That is the worst thing. It looks so goofy. You can play it off like if you lost a knee in the convention center somewhere, you can play it off like, oh yeah, I just rocked the one knee. That's my style. But we all know it's bullshit. So secure them knees. Velcro. If you don't have a strip of Velcro already on here like I do, put a strip. Glue it down just like how these ones are. Glue that stuff down. And you don't have to worry about it. And it is hidden. You know, it's gonna be hidden. You're not gonna see this strip. You're not gonna see the glue. As long as you don't do a super sloppy glue job, you're not gonna see this. This covers it completely, and it doesn't float, so you won't have to worry about it showing up in pictures. So easy peasy with that. So we got our knees, we got our thighs, we got our cod. There's only one other part on this kit that has armor, and that is my shins, because I do have shins plus knees. Now, for shins, pull this, I don't throw everything all over the place. I'm gonna set that back up. Sit that down. Obviously, I'm not careful with my stuff really all that much. Get that out of there. Shin. Another piece, I believe it's from the same people, DHPFX. So, how secure is okay, we'll go. Yeah, you're a little bit late there, but I can go back over once this is all done real quick and kind of go over all that. But let me get this out of the way. So this is our shins. So same thing with this. This is just Velcroed, and I don't pull these off because I don't really like to, because this material is so flimsy. I mean, it's just leather, so it's so flimsy. I don't want to have to worry about putting too much stress or ripping the leather, because if you continuously pull the sticky back Velcro off of leather, it will tear leather from the backing of it, and you'll have this weird gap that you'll have to figure out what to do with. So don't worry about that. So the same thing is just sticky back Velcro on the back of this and on the back of this. And all this is an equestrian riding boot cover. That's it. So the way that this one works, again, these things are, this is an Amazon purchase. Opens up and we have that boot. I'm sure everybody's seen this boot on Amazon. I mean, it's a cheap boot. It's leather. It's sturdy. Also, I found out. So this is just made by Skechers. This is a Sketcher boot, but this covers the logos, so you don't have to worry about this. This is just an Amazon find. If you type in leather work boot, or I forget the actual term for this boot, it's there's a term for it. So if anybody knows, type that in there. But it is just a Skechers brand work boot, and it is leather, but it is rubber soled, and this stuff is super sturdy. This stuff is like made for work. This is definitely made for working. And I have weathered it, so this is all paint. Like, this isn't actual dirt or anything. This is all paint, Van Dyke red paint, and I took an abrasive pad and scuffed it up a little bit before I added the paint. But that's the boot. And again, this is just an equestrian style leg cover. I really liked them because it had all this this piping down the side, or gussets. Skechers, definitely Skechers. But there's an actual. Here we go. You can kind of see in there. Oh, and that's the thing. Gel-infused memory foam. These things are so comfortable to walk around in. I walked around. We were at the last convention here in Hawaii. I walked around probably for 4.5, 5 hours. The only thing that didn't hurt on my body was my feet, which is kind of shocking. But that's it. So relaxed fit, gel-infused memory foam, Skechers work boot. Got some fuzz or something on there. Anyway, so once I found these are also on Amazon. Equestrian leg chap or something. I did have a hard time finding the right size because it says you definitely have to figure out what size. I have extra large. I'm 6'1". I'm thick. I weigh 215. I'm 6'1". I weigh 215 pounds. Extra large fit me really nice. It's not tight enough where it's cutting off circulation, and it is definitely it feels good and it works. It flows with my kit. It doesn't bunch up. It's very sturdy. It's thick leather. I mean, they're made for horses, so riding horses. Again, sticky back just onto this. You could probably make... I did have snaps at one point on these, but they kept popping off. So sticky back Velcro. That has kept them on this whole time. But not a difficult thing to do. And I don't have these separate when I suit up. I leave them put together. So that way, again, I suit up really quick. Boom. Covers that, so in case your foot is up, this covers the Skechers logo. You don't have to worry about the bottom either. So when I suit up, oh, and I'll show you another thing on the pants. So I actually have, I installed more poppers with another elastic that goes up and under my foot. So that way it holds the pant leg down in the boot. Because before I did that, I did have a problem with my pants started hiking themselves up a little higher and higher and higher. So they started bunching out above this and between my knee. Yeah, thick fit. Great. Don't make me change my name now. So installing the little foot, the under the foot holder, it just goes under just like this, how this is, but on your pants. So when you slide your foot in there, your pant leg goes in and it stays in, and you don't have to worry about it coming out or doing anything weird while you're walking around. That's it. So, and all they do, side zipper all the way down, and then button that bad boy up. Boom. And because it has all this extra nice detail with these ribbing, the zipper is almost not even noticeable, especially when it goes on the inside of your leg. So, and I have, these are, I guess, acceptable if you're trying to get into the Mercs and stuff. This is, from what I was told, acceptable to have, this on the inside. I looked forever to try and find a tall boot, just a one piece. Impossible. And I wasn't going to spend $300 to $400 on a tall boot. More boy ludes. I would totally do that if I wasn't so self-conscious about my body. And everybody knows me. I don't even like taking my shirt off at the beach when I actually go to the beach. So maybe if I worked out a little bit more, it'd be all right. But these boots, I believe, were like $30, $40, maybe you were cheaper. And these chaps, I think, were like $30 or $40. So maybe $60, maybe $80 put together and you got yourself a really nice, like, actual boot that you don't have to spend $300 to $400 on a tall boot. And it does have the same ribbing in the front, so it does fit and it stays snug. That's why I put all the weathering on after I put this on, just so I can make sure that it's, it all kind of looks good in the same. And it does, like I said, covers up the logo. Then that doesn't write up. Calendar, right? I've suggested people do calendars before, and apparently that was before OnlyFans came out. So OnlyFans kind of screwed the calendar idea. But I know Captain Rex did a Sexy Rexy calendar, and it was amazing. So who knows? There might be an Island Fit calendar in the making. Shh, maybe. Nobody's gonna want to buy it. I might give it away as like do something like a giveaway. I might do something like that, but we'll worry about that later. But that's the boot. So that is lower half. So we've done the whole lower half. We did codpiece, we did thigh, we did knees, we did this. It's the boot. Sexy boots for days. So there we go. So let me show you real quick before before I forget, just to cover all my bases, this is my little fancy under the foot strap. Again, little itty bitty. I actually riveted these. They have like tiny little rivets. It's the same. It does the same exact thing as the poppers, only it doesn't pop. These aren't coming off. It's very solid. It's not going to tear the fabric. Tiny little buckles, so it isn't digging into you. And so you can put your pants on and then slip this up and over, and it rides underneath your foot. I don't know whatever they call it. But that's it. So that's up to the thigh, up to the cod, and belt. This too, I want to talk a little bit more about this belt. This belt is amazing. This belt is probably the best find I've had on Amazon. Not only is it magnetic, so it's super easy to take on and off. You don't have to try and fiddle with roping it through a buckle. You just pull a thing. But you can cinch it up to where it's nice and tight, but it is still stretchy. So that way, when you have this all cinched up, you're keeping yourself together. You still have breathing room. You can still breathe. You can still live without suffocating to death, or having your stuff flow out over the sides a little bit, like mine does sometimes. But yeah, so it's stretchy, it's tight, it's magnetic, it's secure. That's not going anywhere. Boom, bam. So I'll throw this down on the side. Boom. So now we have all our lower half. So now, what is the belt called? I have no idea. I don't remember what it's called, but what I will do is after I do this live stream, I'm going to go into my Amazon. I'm going to look at all the actual things that I've purchased. I'm going to screenshot them, and I'll post them up. So that way everybody can see what I've gone through, what I purchased. You can kind of search similar stuff for yourself, so that way you guys can go ahead and yes, everyday life for sure. So I'll post it all up, so that way we actually have all the links up there. I think it's just a Jazzgood Tactical. It might be. I can't remember the name for it. I bought it cheap. This was actually a cheap version. There were belts like that. There were a couple $100 or $80, and I said no. Yeah. So we'll do that. I'll do that later on. So after all this is done, we'll go back. Got your lights on your supply list on our website. Yeah. Wait, which lights? These lights? So before I go into how we attach these to the actual flak vest, I will show you the lights that we're talking about. So in my kit, I didn't want to have to order one of those super fancy LED like flashy thingy shenanigans. I wanted something more simple, especially when you're doing photos and stuff. I didn't really want it to be the center of attention. I just wanted it to be able to have a little extra something. So I installed this thing where you can have it flashing. You can actually change the amount of flashing time. You can make it solid. I don't know what I did here. There we go. And you really can't tell how bright this is. It is bright, and it is red. So you can see this during the daylight. There's a lot of light in this room, believe it or not. It's all natural light. And from my eye, when I'm looking at this glows nice red without being overly bright. There are the overly bright ones that blind and stand out too much in a camera. So I went ahead and figured this little thing out. It's stupid easy. This is it. Okay. You can do individuals or have both running or have one flashing and one solid because of just the way it is. They run off of little tiny batteries, and I just glued in the center so you can click away to your heart's content, and they last a really, really long time. Thousands of hours apparently, according to the website. But all this is, I'll show you this really quick. And I guess MakerBake has them on their site. This is what they are. They are slap bands for going out and jogging and stuff. That's it. Inside they have a little LED light with a plastic strip. I guess you can't really see that because it's... So all you do, and it's stupid easy, there's a pocket, you just slide it out. That's it. And this is what comes out of it. Okay. This is all this is. That's it. You know, it's ridiculously simple. And what I did in order to get the two, you could just do a single and cut the plastic there and then be good. That's all. Yeah, raving. That's all it is. You can just trim it and then you have a short strip. I went a little bit extra and I put the two, and all I did was cut the strip and I took another one out, and it does have these little screws here and these little holes. All you got to do is stick a needle or a pin or something through that hole and then put the screws right back in, and then you have a dual setup for lights that will illuminate your chest and will show up really nice without being overly powerful. And I believe 12 of these things with all different assorted colors, greens, yellows, reds, oranges, blues, whites, they all come, I think it's like pack of 12 or 8 or whatever for like, I think 15 to, it can be anywhere from 15 to 20 bucks on Amazon. And if Maker Baked has them, it's super easy. You can go to that. I actually learned that little trick from one of Adam Savage's videos that he did with somebody who had I think it was Farscape or some sci-fi show. They had these built into the back of their boots, the magnetic boots, and that's all it was just the LED strip or the little plastic strip in the back of their boot. That was it. So easy, quick lighting fix, and you can actually reach in and turn it off and on underneath your flak vest while you're trooping. So and another thing why I have two is if the battery dies in one, it's still lit up. And I accidentally left these on one night, overnight, and they were still good the next day. And the brilliant thing about these as well is they come with like extra batteries, a lot of extra batteries. So not only are those batteries included, you don't have to worry about it. It's good to go. So it's really cheap and easy. Just go grab these things on Amazon. You can do them. You can use these in anything. You can use them for your chest plates. You can use them for gun accessories or light ups and a lot of different things. Your jetpack. They're really versatile and it's super super easy to mess with. But that's that. All right. So what we'll go ahead and do is I'm going to move all these and I'm going to go ahead and put my flak vest down so we can actually see how these all attach. And I'll go through the method and how to use those snaps, or at least the way I did it. So it might help with some frustration down the road, because I will tell you that getting these snaps on are kind of a pain. And I think that is why I might be going towards the actual pin back style, because it's going to be 100% easier. But here is my flak vest for my island kit. Now it's going to look all funky and it's going to reshape itself because obviously it's floppy. There's nobody in there. So this is it. Now, when I purchased my flak vest, it did not have the side openings. That didn't exist. It was solid on both sides and it had a split down the back. Now, I like to be able to suit up by myself and do silly things at home, and if there's nobody to help me, then I can't do that. So what I asked one of my friends who has a mom that's a seamstress, she actually sewed up the back for me, left a couple inches of Velcro flaps so that I can stick my head through, and Velcroed the sides for me. So now I can have one side Velcroed and slip this up and over the side of my body and attach the side myself and be ready to go. So I don't need help actually suiting up. And I do have the bat plate is attached already, so I don't have to do anything. I just throw this thing up and over my head and I'm good to go. But how I attach this is the combination of hook loop, which is Velcro, and stick this in there. This might help a little bit. There we go. Hook, loop, and snap. Now, right now this looks all janky and it looks like my plates aren't even or lined up, but that's just because it's floppy. But here we go. So I got this leather. I don't remember who I got this vest from, and I feel really bad about that. I'll have to find that and post it up soon too. I do have another one on order from Endless Cosplay. That I'm really excited for that to show up, and that's going to be for my actual island kit, the yellow kit, the Boba Fett holiday special. So soon, hopefully, and then I can actually put that together, and you guys can watch me put that together. But here we go. See how tight these things are on there? Yeah. I'm sorry. I promise I'm trying to get this off. Oh, God. There we go. Oh, my God. Okay, so as you can see, it's not easy for these things to just come off. Not easy at all. It does take a little effort, but it's because I have reinforced with the dual, actually it's triple, because there is the glue, in the hot glue inside of these as well. So with a combination of Velcro, snaps, and hot glue, these things are really hard to take off by themselves. So you can maneuver around, do a bunch of silly stuff, and not have it just come undone. And I definitely recommend Velcro, because if your snap pops off, you could lose a whole plate with one shot. And then you have to stand over in a corner and try and figure out how or who to help you put this stuff back on. And sometimes that's not like really available. I do have some sand in here. Sorry, I went to the beach with it, so I did get a little beachy. But anyway, so again, with the Maker Baked, they had the recessed little divots in here, and I went ahead and glued those. These are glued in with the Gorilla Glue Clear. Now, don't mistake this for Gorilla Glue brown. It's not brown and it's not clear. It's called white. Gorilla Glue white. White will foam up. We don't want foaming. Use the clear. I got this at Walgreens. I don't know if all Walgreens sell this or CVS, but that's where I found this. You should probably get it on Amazon. But this is what I use, and this holds up time after time. This hasn't failed me yet. So, and if it does, I'll let you guys know. But so after we glue those in, you know, they're good to go. Everything's fine. Everything's happy. I have a plate. How do I figure out where these go? And this was the problem that I ran into really quick that I didn't know that was going to be a problem. So what I did to fix this, to try and solve the solution, is I put the flak vest over a mannequin, a dummy, which I strongly recommend you guys get if you're doing anything else. This is going to save you time and effort and stress. I tell you, like, a lot. I got mine cheap off of Craigslist, believe it or not. But anyway, so what I did, set that down, is with my mannequin, or my flak vest over the mannequin, I had these Velcroed, and I had the backings on them, and I placed those kind of lightly. I didn't press down. I lightly placed them so that the tack kind of grabbed just a little bit, but didn't actually grab completely. And I put these on and arranged them so that I had proper spacing between things, so that it didn't bunch up, that I didn't have to take them off, redo, take them off, redo, take them off, redo. So I did it lightly, lined them all up to where they were supposed to be. Okay. Once I had them all lined up, I used a pencil, but you can use chalk or a actual fabric drawing thing, whatever it's going to do. And I traced all along the outline of each plate so that I knew where it was supposed to sit. Now, once I had them all in place and I knew where they were supposed to sit, I went ahead and firmly pressed all that Velcro together against the back of the flak vest. I pressed down that stuff. I made sure it was stuck, and then I slowly went in and took my fingers and made sure to remove the plates themselves. So once I had the plate off, and I had my Velcro on.